And by Fleet, an official sponsor of Major League Baseball.
Tonight, it's Pedro Martinez, the leading candidate for the American League Cy Young Award, against Tom Glavine, a two-time Cy Young winner in the National League. It's a great matchup for the first interleague game of the year. Park in Boston, the JCS New England Television Network presents exclusive coverage of Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight, game one of a much-anticipated three-game series between the Red Sox and the Atlanta Braves. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us as the Red Sox begin their third season of interleague play against a team with roots here in Boston, the Braves. As they head into this series, each of these two teams are in first place in their respective divisions. The Red Sox have won 20 of their last 26. As a result, this is the latest they've been in first place in the American League East since 1995. They have a game-and-a-half lead over the New York Yankees. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves record is actually a half game worse than the Red Sox at 32-21, but they have a 5-game lead over the Mets in the National League East. That's the largest lead for any team in the National League. Tonight, I'm joined by Dennis Eckersley as Jerry Remy has the night off. He's staging his one-game protest of interleague play. Actually, his son Jordan graduating from high school tonight. We congratulate Jordan Remy. Dennis, great to have you with us tonight. As we said, interleague play, a lot of people like it. It's an exciting night here as the Braves are here, and what a great pitching matchup.
Well, for me, first of all, I get in free, and I get to do the game. But as a fan now sitting back, this is exciting because Pedro Martinez is by far the greatest pitcher in the game right now. And not only that, we're going against a team like Atlanta, who they have a lot of attention, and Glavine, a two-time Cy Young Award winner from Boston, and I think it's exciting. Interleague's great, especially with two great pitchers.
And it is Tom Glavine on the mound tonight for Atlanta. He has been the best left-hander in Major League Baseball over the last 10 years, but this season has been a struggle. The Billerica native is 3-6, an ERA of nearly 5. Pedro Martinez, on the other hand, has been the best pitcher in baseball. He leads the majors with 10 wins. He'll go for number 11 tonight, right after this.
It's time for us to take a look at our Walmart Everstart Battery starting lineups for the Braves. Walt Weiss will lead it off and play shortstop. Batting second is Brett Boone. He's the second baseman. Chipper Jones will bat third. Brian Jordan in the cleanup spot. Javi Lopez to catch and bat fifth, in a position we don't get to say very often. DHing and batting sixth, it's going to be Ryan Klesko. Andrew Jones is the center fielder. Randall Simon gets the start at first base, and Gerald Williams will be in left field. Here's the defense for the Sox. It'll be O'Leary in left. It'll be Buford in center. It'll be Lewis in right. Some speed in that outfield. The infield, Valentin and Garcia Parra on the left side. Fry and Stanley make up the right side. Georgia Tech product Jason Varitek behind the plate and making his 12th start of the year. Check out these numbers for Pedro Martinez. You don't go very far down the list to find him in the top category in everything. Wins, earned run average, strikeouts, averaging 13 per 9 innings pitched, and his control has been exceptional. And one of the things about him, when he goes out there, he's out there for the decisions. Only twice this year has he gone less than 7 innings for the Sox. Let's take a look at the umpiring crew. We're in an American League city. We will see American League umpires. Behind the plate, it is a veteran. He has been around forever. That's Larry McCoy, and he's a good one. Tim Sheeta will be down at first. Chuck Merriweather has second base, involved in a little controversy recently. He kicked the pitcher out for hitting a batter on a 3-2 count. Jim Reynolds, a first year. The rookie is over at third. It is Fenway Park, and I know, Pete, you have some memories of this as a youngster. I have some memories of watching it on TV and playing here, and even spending some off days in New York, taking the train up to watch a game and then going back that night. It is a wonderful ballpark, and Jimmy Williams has done a great job with this ball club.
Yes, he has. In a year coming after they lost Mo Vaughn, and with the losing of Mo Vaughn to the free agency and to the California Anaheim Angels, a lot of people thought the Boston Red Sox would disappear in the American League East this year. That is not the case. They are on top of the New York Yankees by a game and a half going into tonight's game. The Braves up by 5 games now over the New York Mets in the National League East. Walt Weiss returns to the starting lineup tonight and leads it off for Atlanta. Before missing about a week's worth of games with that sprained quad muscle in his right leg, Weiss had put together a 13-game hitting streak, the longest of his career, and the first pitch to him is low and away, ball 1. We're underway. Hitting .279 for the year. He'll be followed by Brett Boone and then Chipper Jones. Popped him up. Shallow left center. O'Leary and Buford converging. It'll be the left fielder O'Leary making the ground run away. And that'll bring up Brett Boone.
You'll watch the Red Sox shortstop get more involved on balls hit the left field here than any other place, because once that ball is headed, especially a line drive, Garciaparra will head out toward left field. You will see balls that would be home runs in other parks here turn into singles. You'll see pop-ups go into the net for home runs, but keep an eye on Garciaparra on anything hit in the left field.
Brett Boone takes the strike. He's hitting .283. 8 homers and 25 RBIs, just 3 out of his last 22. Quickly 0-2 on Brett Boone. Martinez, you saw those numbers, just an absolutely astounding pitching line for him this year. 81 innings now, 67 hits, 16 walks, and 117 strikeouts. In the air, shallow right center field. It's going to be the center fielder Damon Buford making the grab there for out number 2.
The Braves are doing what I think you're going to have to do. You're going to go up and get some pitches to hit, so you got to put the ball in play. Gets a lot of movement on everything. One of the best changeups in baseball.
The third baseman,
Chipper Jones hitting .290. 10-game hitting streak as he checks into tonight's game. 13 homers, 38 RBIs. I was talking to him about facing Pedro Martinez, and Chipper said that he is one pitcher that you really have to try to guess along with. And you can't sit in any one pitch or sit in any one location, because he mixes his pitches so well, mixes his locations so well. So you have to kind of try to think. That's at least the way Chipper's had any success against him. Try to think along with him and outguess him, figure out what he's going to throw and where he's going to throw it.
He's only guessed right 4 times in 23 at bats.
1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Count goes to 2-0. Again, ball 3. It's a very different approach from the approach Chipper Jones was taking to Kevin Brown, for example, where he was looking at one spot for one pitch.
Yeah, he said against Kevin Brown, I've got to give him one side of the plate, and he looked inside all night. Or he looked outside all night against Kevin Brown and took everything inside.
Well, there's a rare 4-pitch walk delivered by Martinez. A runner at first with 2 outs for Brian Jordan.
Of all the good numbers that you saw from Pedro Martinez, the one number that really jumped off the page at me, Pete, was that in 81 innings, he's only allowed 2 home runs.
Brian Jordan, 314, 12 homers, 48 RBIs. That's good for a couple of, first of all, it's good for any pitcher pitching anywhere, but you pitch in this ballpark.
And you pitch in this league.
Yeah. With all the power-hitting teams that you got to face in the American League.
He's pitched at Tampa Bay. He's pitched against Detroit, at Detroit. He's pitched against Cleveland twice, once there, once here. He's gone against the Yankees.
Fastball foul back in the count 0-2.
So that's not exactly the East Cobb Little League he's been running up against, and to only allow 2 home runs, and he's only had 1 ball game in which he's walked more than 3.
He's ahead of Jordan here, 0-2 with Chipper Jones at first, 2 outs.
the first strikeout of the night for Martinez. The Braves leave a runner. And we go to the bottom half of the first inning with no score.
Mike Stanley at first base. He's the cleanup hitter, hitting .400 over the last 12 games. The number 5 hitter, left fielder Troy O'Leary. Damon Buford is in center field, hitting 7th, playing second base tonight. Jeff Fry. The catcher Jason Varitek will bat 8th, and hitting 9th, the right fielder Darren Lewis. For the Atlanta Braves, defensively, 6th in the National League in team fielding. Gerald Williams is the left fielder. Andrew Jones, a brilliant center fielder. Brian Jordan at right. Chipper Jones at third. Walt Weiss at second. Walt Weiss at short. Brett Boone at second. Randall Simon at first, and behind the plate, Javi Lopez. On the mound for Atlanta tonight, Tom Glavine, the 33-year-old lefty from Billerica. As we mentioned, he's the winningest left-hander in baseball over the last 11 years, but this season's been a struggle for Tom.
I don't really know what it is. You look at those stats right there. He hasn't got a lot of strikeouts, and the walks are so-so, and the hits aren't that outrageous. I don't really know what it has been. He probably gives up runs early, and then he has to come out of the game. But this guy is sneaky. He looks like he's not throwing that hard, but he's sneaky.
And his first pitch is a strike to Jose Offerman.
He'll wear out that outside corner.
That's where he's made his living. Offerman hitting .333. Glavine trying to nibble at the outside corner again and missed.
He'll fire one inside every once in a while, but for the most part he stays away.
Bounced down the line, foul off third. 1 and 2 on Offerman, who's back up among the top 10 in the American League in hitting. He's familiar with Glavine, his time with the Dodgers. Offerman tied right now with Kenny Lofton of Cleveland for 6th in the American League in hitting. He's been 6 for 10 on the homestand at a big 3-game set against the Tigers. And in fact, at one point that series reached base safely in 9 straight plate appearances until he grounded out in the first inning Wednesday night. Glavine to a full count, and that's one of the things they say about Glavine, that he hasn't been getting the calls this year on that outside part of the plate.
Boy, I want that pitch right there. It's going to be a tough night for him if he doesn't get that pitch.
Now the payoff pitch to Offerman, off the end of the bat down to Randall Simon. The first baseman will play it himself for the out. Well, I talked to Tom Glavine before the game tonight. He said a lot of people have been writing about maybe I'm not getting the calls just off the plate that I used to get in the past. But I haven't said one word about that. That's not been coming from me. And there's been some speculation that because there's been so much written about it, it becomes a perpetuating thing where the umpires read that. And
I would make darn sure that I wasn't complaining and let them know.
Glavine missed low. Ball 1 to John Valentin, hitting .251, 5 homers, 35 runs batted in. He's still looking for his first hit on the homestand, 0 for 9 against Detroit. Well, those are pitches, again, that ordinarily Glavine gets.
Ooh. Is that pitch low, or is it outside? What is it?
I think that's what Glavine's wondering. And that's clearly low. Saw the numbers for Glavine's last outing against the Dodgers. He pitched well, but lost 2-1. Both runs for Los Angeles in that game scored on bases loaded walks. And that's low. This is the second time Glavine has pitched at Fenway. He worked in that series 2 years ago when the Braves were here. He talks about pitching at the ballpark he used to come to as a youngster.
Being a local kid coming here as a kid, you know, I always dreamed about playing here, and you know, I get the chance to do it now for the second time, and you know, against Pedro, who's throwing the ball really well, and these guys are playing well as a team. So you know, it's a good challenge all the way around. 2 good ball clubs, and hopefully it'll be a good weekend of baseball.
Interesting, too, that unlike most starting pitchers, he was out on the field before the game talking to the media. Most of the time the starting pitcher's in the clubhouse just gathering his thoughts and getting physically and mentally ready. But Glavine came out, talked to the media, took batting practice.
This guy's been in a lot of big games.
He's pitching to Nomar Garciaparra, and he's thrown 6 straight balls now. 2-0 on Nomar, hitting .335, a team high 10 homers, tied with Troy O'Leary for the team lead in that category. And he leads the Red Sox in runs batted in with 41, good for 7th in the American League.
They hit the ball good off Glavine last year. A couple home runs.
That was down in Atlanta. Nomar sends it out of play to the right.
They must have a plan to say, you know, you face a guy like this, make him throw strikes and then start hacking, because he's going to try to nibble.
There's Bobby Cox. And 2-2 fastball up and in. So it's 3-2. We'll see if Valentin is running with the pitch. Ordinarily, Jimmy Williams moves just about every runner with a full count.
This has got to be a changeup right here.
Lopez sets up away. Garciaparra slices one foul.
He hit it like it was a fastball. A little late. It's almost like Nomar was sitting on a changeup and got a fastball. There's that changeup. You know it's inevitable he's got to throw this thing.
Nomar drives that one to deep left center and off the top of the wall. Valentin on his way to third. He'll be held at third as the relay comes in to Walt Weiss. And it's a double with one out for Nomar Garciaparra.
Nomi's sitting all over a changeup. He fouls a fastball, 3-2 fastball off the other way, and then he gets his changeup and he smokes it off the wall. Little changeup. Middle, it's not really high, but it's very hittable. He stays back and just flipped this ball off the wall. He didn't even stroke, he didn't even take a big swing at that ball, but he stayed back. Nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, 13 doubles now for Garciaparra. As we've talked about many times on our telecast, he can hit just about any pitch and drive it with some authority. It's a 7-game hitting streak now for Garciaparra. Here's Mike Stanley with 2 men in scoring position. He takes a ball up and away. Stanley hitting .307, 6 homers and 30 runs batted in.
Stanley really knows the strike zone too. He's really a professional hitter. I mean, he's got a real good game plan when he gets up there.
Very good in these situations, delivering men from third with less than 2 outs. Glavine nibbling again and missing. 2-0. Mike Stanley could reach a milestone tonight. He each just 2 hits for 1,000 in his career. They're going to intentionally walk him now.
That's a no-brainer right there.
That'll load the bases. Second walk in the inning by Glavine. They'll get over to the left-handed hitting Troy O'Leary.
They got to have a book on O'Leary, because he's going to be hacking.
The left fielder, Troy O'Leary.
Bobby Cox and Jimmy Williams, longtime good pals. They were visiting on the field before the game. Jimmy served as Bobby Cox's third base coach in Toronto and in Atlanta. Replaced Bobby in Toronto when he left to go to Atlanta as the manager. Strike one to O'Leary. Troy hitting .284 with 10 homers and 30 runs batted in.
Troy looking for something else besides a fastball, or he would have been hacking right there. Kind of tricked him. How did he get tricked with a fastball?
There's a strike. 0-2.
That outside corner is a little bigger than the other one.
Here's why Bobby Cox walked O'Leary. Troy's hitting just .227 against left-handed pitchers. .301 against the right-handers. Stanley at first. Garciaparra at second. Valentin at third. No score. 1 out in the first. O'Leary hits a base hit on an 0-2 pitch past the shortstop Weiss. Valentin scores to make it 1-0. They held Garciaparra at third, so Glavine apparently with a mistake there. An 0-2 pitch, good enough that O'Leary could lash it through the left side.
That's a mistake right there. You know it is. He tried to slip another fastball by him. Ball's way a little outside, but he stays right on this ball. That is some nice piece of hitting right there. I mean, you got to tip your hat, but at the same time, I don't think he wanted to throw that ball even reachable to hit.
Glavine historically has had first inning difficulty, even in seasons when he has been going along as he usually does very well. A strike on the outside corner to Damon Buford, hitting .257, a homer and 15 runs batted in. 1-0 Red Sox, perhaps a chance for a big first inning. Bases still loaded, 1 out. And Buford's in the hole just as O'Leary was ahead of him, 0-2.
Did a game in Detroit a couple weeks ago, and every time they foul a ball off, it's like I flinch. It's like you're so close. It's unbelievable, that place.
Well, you're used to being only 60 feet away. I would think the broadcast booth.
Can't be looking at the monitor. You might catch one in the lift.
That's right. Well, your friend Jerry Remy hides behind those monitors in Detroit. Up here, it's high enough. He has reaction time. And after a great catch he made the other night in Cleveland, that's all we hear about now. The catch. You're just tuning in. We're joined tonight by Dennis Eckersley, Jerry Remy, attending the graduation from high school of his son Jordan. 1-2 pitch. Buford fought it off to stay alive.
Glavine, not really a strikeout pitcher. He can't really put you away with a nasty, sharp breaking ball. His pitch is really, you know, paint the outside corner, and he got to turn me over changeup, and he gets you a little out front. He might throw a fastball in right here to try to punch him out.
Lopez set up inside, but the pitch was not inside, and Buford grounded it through the left. Another hit, another run. They play station to station as the ball is fired back in by Williams. So Glavine was ahead of O'Leary 0-2, couldn't put him away, had Buford 0-2, and Damon delivered a single for his 16th run batted in. It's 2-0 Red Sox.
Trying to throw a fastball in, but he throws it down middle, and it's a mistake. He's trying to throw this ball belt high in, try to punch him out. He throws it down middle, and he hits the ball in the hole. Because right there, he wasn't even looking for contact. Hopefully, he's going to try to punch him out or pop him up, because he didn't really want him to obviously get a base hit.
Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach at the mound. Long first inning for Glavine. He's thrown 29 pitches already.
Number 3, the second baseman.
A lot of friends and relatives in attendance here tonight. Glavine himself had to come up with 80 tickets, and that's hard to do in this ballpark. And he said, that's just the people I know about. Obviously, there are a lot of other friends and family members who found their own tickets. So he has a lot of supporters here tonight who aren't very happy right now.
He's pitched a lot of World Series games, big games, but I bet you this game right here is more than a World Series game to him.
He hits the outside corner for a strike to Jeff Fry.
I think he pitched a Sunday night game here a couple of years ago, didn't he? And pitched pretty well.
Yes.
Got a lot of runs, I think, that game, 15-0, something like that.
That was the first time he had ever pitched here. I asked him before the game if he was ever here in a high school all-star game. And the other time on the field, he said no. Well, Fry has Glavine right where he wants him, 0-2. Tom Glavine, one of the good guys in baseball. Solid veteran, team leader.
A league spokesman.
And that hurt his popularity for a little while in Atlanta. In the labor dispute, he was a vocal member of the Players Association. Some of the Braves fans didn't like that. That's strike 3. Fastball. Fry thought it was a little bit up and in. Glavine gets the big call for his first strikeout of the night.
Batting 8, number 47.
He throws this ball where he wanted to throw the ball to Buford, right there. Might have been high, might have been inside, but he gets the call. It's a big pitch right there.
It sure was. Glavine needed an out, and he got it. Here's the 8th batter of the inning. Jason Varitek with the bases still loaded. Red Sox lead 2-0. Varitek looked at ball 1 outside. He's at 259. 7 homers now. 21 runs batted in. He's hitting .226 right-handed. Ball 2. Glavine turned it over and missed down and away.
I think if you ask a lot of fans out there, the biggest surprise, and I'm not really surprised, but Jason would have to be one of the really happy surprises for everyone.
The 2-0 pitch. He fouled it off. Of course, you pitched to him last year. What do you see as the biggest areas of improvement for him?
Well, I like the kid. You know, last year here he was a rookie, and they're telling him, you know, the coaches are trying to tell him what to call, and they're filling his head up with all that stuff. And this kid really responded, you know, a great way. I mean, he still called his own game, and it showed me something.
And he has the count in his favor now, 3-1. Glavine has to throw a strike. I mentioned the only 2 runs he gave up last time I won bases loaded walks. He's in jeopardy of that right here.
But you know, Veritek, you know, those coaching staff, when you're a rookie, they could turn you into a robot, and he didn't turn into one, which I was impressed with.
The 3-1 from Glavine. Lined out of play to the right. And Jason spends a lot of time, in particular Grady Little, who undoubtedly has helped Veritek's development. There's the guy, Jason Veritek, and there's Grady Little. And Veritek, very intense, very eager to improve, works very hard at his game, and as a result, it seems that he's improved in every area. Handling pitches, throwing, hitting. 3-2 pitch to him. Fly ball to center, and Andrew Jones will run that down. And Glavine emerges from the inning with relatively little damage. It certainly could have been much worse for him. After 2-0 Boston.
Presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
It is 2-0 Red Sox as we go to the top half of inning 2. Javi Lopez, Ryan Klesko, Andrew Jones do up against Pedro Martinez. 2 runs sometimes all he needs. And we'll see if it's enough for him tonight or if the Braves can get to him. He's only 4-5 lifetime against Atlanta. Those decisions for the most part coming when he was a member of the Montreal Expos, and some of them coming when he was very early in his career and not quite the master of the craft that he has become. Lopez 310 for the year. Into center field. Good start to the top half of the second. And again, you're seeing a lot of Braves hitters in this game, Don, go up there and very early in the count try to pick out first thing that looks good and go after it.
Well, with a guy who's going to throw strikes, that's the way to hit. Starts with a breaking ball, stays up in the strike zone. That, getting back to the point you were making about that former manager Joe Morgan was making about you never know which inning, and maybe it's the first inning. If you give a guy like a Pedro Martinez 4 runs early, then all he's going to do is just come right at you. But now, because this ballpark can give up runs freely, he's still got to pitch a little carefully.
Ryan Klesko, the DH. Backs away from 1 up and in. He'll at 279, 6 homers.
He'll still be aggressive, but he can't freewheel it. You know, you get 4 runs in the first inning, you just go out and say, okay, boys, put it in play.
No strikes on Klesko. Since we're in the American League Park, we use the American League rules, which include the designated hitter. That'll change when the Braves get back to Atlanta on Monday. Take on Tampa Bay. It sets up an interesting question for Larry Rothschild. What about Jose Canseco? He's been the DH all year for Tampa Bay.
What's he up to, 20 homers now?
National League rules, no DH. When you get to Atlanta Monday, that'll be an interesting decision.
And then what you have to think of is where can I put him so the ball doesn't hurt him.
3-0 the count of Klesko. Strike 3-1.
It'll be interesting to see how Ryan Klesko handles being a DH. Players who become DH tell you that when you first started, it's very hard to keep yourself into the ball game. You have to, because all you do is sit around till it's your turn to bat. You have to swing the bat, stay loose, do something to keep yourself in the game.
And a walk. That's the second walk of the game issued by Martinez. So he's already over his average per 9 innings in walks. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Andrew Jones.
Batting 7, number 25, the center fielder, Andrew
hitting
Jones.
.267, 8 home runs, 31 RBIs. A lot of base runners doesn't necessarily mean that Pedro Martinez is not going to beat you. He had a game against the Yankees 3 starts ago where he pitched out of one jam after another, leaving 2 men on, 3 men on. I think the Yankees left 5 men at third in that game.
14 base runners in 7 innings. 10 hits, 4 walks.
He did have a little problem with his left hip that may have affected him in a couple of his starts earlier this year, including that one.
At the point where when the leg comes up, right there on the left side, right where it bends at the hip, when it picks up,
Hits the runner. Lopez thought about going to third, but changed his mind after Garcia Parra came up with it quickly. Count 0-2 on Andrew Jones.
if he was bunting for a base hit. Remember, the pitcher's not in the batting order, so you can do some things various spots in the lineup that you wouldn't do, knowing that the pitcher's going to be hitting in the ninth spot.
Out of play, still 0-2 on Andrew. You know, walks to strikeouts this year, only a difference of 14 for Andrew Jones. 24 walks, 38 strikeouts. That's a huge improvement.
Well, his recognition of the strike zone is so much better this year.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He's also a much better 2-strike hitter than he used to be. Not trying to do quite as much.
And part of it is the influence of Don Baylor. Something else he's become is a much better situational hitter. It seemed like last year, the year before last, trying to see how far he could hit the ball. But in a position where you need a ground ball, a fly ball, you need the ball put in play. Most of the time this year, he's put it in play.
He went, I think. Yes, he did. Second strikeout for Martinez. Out number 1 in the top of the second.
And Martinez can work the bottom of the strike zone. He can work upstairs, and his fastball takes off upstairs. And it looks so good. Well, he did commit, but that's one that he would have swung at the one before it last year. This guy just knows how to pitch. He gets 2 strikes and he expands the strike zone. Throws you pitches in an area that look good, but that you just can't handle them.
And still only 27 years old. Here's Randall Simon. Rounds the first pitch sharply at first. They make the play at second for 1. No chance for a double play. Garcia Parra doing a quick spin and checking the runner over at third, which is always a smart idea. Runners at first and third now, 2 outs. That play took a little time to develop. I was kind of surprised when I saw Stanley go to second with that one after he took a look and sort of stopped for a moment before throwing down there.
He looked like a guy there that first base wasn't his natural and most favorite position to play. The ball comes right to him. He settles into it. Takes a little while to dig it out. He had a throwing lane behind Klesko. But it did take him a little while to dig it out of the glove and get it down to second.
First and third now with 2 outs for Gerald Williams, who could use a base hit. Now the 205 year. He really struggled on the homestand to the point where both he and Otis Nixon were not in the starting lineup in one of the games against Colorado. Ryan Klesko went back to left field. Braves hoping that Gerald will snap out of it. For his last 17.
And you'd have to guess that one of the options explored by Bobby Cox tonight would have been putting Klesko in left field and maybe using Keith Lockhart as a DH. Playing this wall, though, is something that's it's hard if you haven't been out there and you haven't played a lot of left field. And Gerald Williams plays good defense. That's
the pitch that's been getting a breaking ball down the way. He He's been pulling off that pitch, swinging over the top of it.
That's a good assessment, too, because it's not that he is not a good breaking ball hitter. It's just that he's been chasing bad breaking ball.
The 2-1 on the way, off the outside corner. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's where a pitcher can eat you up if you chase breaking balls out of the strike zone. He'll throw you that one that you chase a foot outside, then comes back with another pitch in the area, and your mind tells you don't swing, it's a ball, and it's the fastball that's on the corner.
Fenway fans want one more strikeout. And they get it. Veritek will have to throw him out and does. 3rd strikeout of the game for Martinez. Braves strand a pair. Still 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the 2nd.
Here at Fenway Park, the big story the last couple of days, the uncertain future of Mark Portugal. Before tonight's game, he spoke to the media.
First thing I want to say is that I'm back with the ball club, and it's my intention to stay here and do everything I can to help this ball club win ball games. I do have some personal issues that I'm dealing with. I've discussed this with Dan and Jimmy, my family, my friends, my teammates, and at this point, I think walking away would make me a little more miserable than I think I've been lately.
So Mark Portugal still dealing with his personal issues, but he has returned. Pat Rapp is going to take his turn in the rotation this weekend, and Portugal will be available out of the bullpen. Then what happens beyond that will be decided after Rapp's start on Sunday. But Mark Portugal, thinking about walking away from baseball, has decided to stay. And Darren Lewis flied out to right on the first pitch of the inning from Tom Glavine. Jose Offerman, the batter. Top of the order in the 2nd. Red Sox got 2 in the 1st. They left the bases loaded. Offerman grounded out to start the 1st. Then the next 5 men reached, and 2 of them scored. There's a strike, and Dennis, I guess Mark Portugal's situation reinforces what we all know. Athletes are human beings just like everybody else.
Well, you know, all the things that have happened to him with his injuries over the course of, you know, all these years he's played, we all, you know, we don't know what's going on personally with him, but you know, that's part of the a ball player is his family.
Swing and a miss. Hoffman foul tipped into the middle of Glavine. You know, I guess some players are better at, when they get on the field, putting the personal distractions behind them than others. Some guys do carry it with them.
13.
Well, you know, when you pitch once every 5 days, I don't know if it's more disturbing pitching once every 5 days or getting a chance to play every day and just go out there and take your mind off it.
John Valentin, the batter. Glavine could use an easy 1-2-3 inning after the arduous first. Valentin sends one back in this direction. He walked and scored the first run.
I think people out there say, this guy's making $3 million a year. How could he walk away from, say, $2 million the rest of the season? They probably think he's crazy.
Who knows? You know, that is certainly, if you're Mark Portugal, I would think a reason to stay, too. Problems are problems, but that's in itself plenty of incentive.
Oh, yeah. Don't, you know, the guy could say, I don't need the money, but you talk about 2 big beans sitting there. Everybody could use 2 more beans.
That's right. Those are big beans.
Big beans. Boston beans.
That's right. Still 0-2 on Valentin. Glavine works from the far third base end of the pitching rubber. And Valentin takes it to the opposite field. Another hit on an 0-2 count. And that's really the approach as the Red Sox found out last year when they had success against Glavine down in Atlanta. Those right-handed hitters can't try to pull that pitch away from them.
If I recall, Valentin took him deep twice last year in that game. And now he shoots him the other way. I mean, sometimes that's a good approach with this guy. Act like it's 0-2, I guess, and just shoot him the other way. But that's a nice piece of hitting. I don't know if that's necessarily a mistake.
The Red Sox have 4 hits. The first was by Nomar, who doubled off the wall in left center and scored the second Red Sox run last inning. Looping breaking ball high for ball 1. Nomar, the player of the month in the American League for May. He had 10 homers, had 33 runs batted in May, 7 doubles at .355. Had the memorable 10 RBI, 3 homer, 2 grand slam game against Seattle. He was the player of the month, and Pedro Martinez was the pitcher of the month in the American League. So the Red Sox swept those 2 honors. The 2-0 is fouled back. Martinez was also the pitcher of the month for April. So he's won both of the monthly awards in the American League so far.
These 2 guys, Pedro and Nomi, I'll tell you what, all the years I've played, these 2 guys are probably, it's hard to say, the best players I've ever played with, but there's a lot to remain. But
there's a high drive toward the triangle. Andrew Jones on the warning track, where he casually makes the catch. I'm going to take you back to that statement. That's a big statement you just made. You played with some terrific players. Glavine out of the inning after 2-0 Boston.
There on the Braves bullpen, Kevin McGlinchey, a native of Malden, Massachusetts. He too had a lot of passes to lead tonight, and I think right now some of his buddies are maybe complaining a little bit about, hey, you're in the big leagues, is this the best you could do for us?
He said, but I'm a rookie.
Out in the right field bleachers.
I'm a rookie. You're in the park. I'm a rookie. You didn't pay. Don't complain.
He was looking very much forward to getting a chance to come out here and play a game at Fenway. Here's Walt Weiss leading off the third. Fly to left his first time up. Red Sox up 2-0.
I can remember a traveling secretary telling me I can get them in the park and the seats will be facing the field.
That's all you need. It really is.
In a park like this.
One of my great memories in Fenway Park as a youngster, coming here on a vacation about, I guess about maybe 9 or 10 years old, sitting way down in that right field corner. And my grandfather caught a foul ball hit by Vic Wirtz. Gave it to me. You think that was a prized possession for a 10-year-old to have his first trip to Fenway Park?
Was it your first game or just your first trip?
First trip to Fenway. First time I'd ever gotten a foul ball.
Vic Wirtz.
1-2 pitch on the way to Weiss. Inside corner. And that's what Chipper Jones is talking about. You have to look for something. You could tell Walt Weiss was not looking for anything inside there. He got down on the count 1-2, and he's right up on top of the plate looking for something away. Look where he burns it. Inside corner just above the knees.
And he burned him with movement and velocity. And unfortunately for Braves, he looks like he's getting comfortable.
4th strikeout.
The only
center his first time up.
The only thing he does that hurts him is because of the angle of his arm. It's not over the top. It's high 3/4. Every now and then he'll cut underneath the breaking ball, and you'll see it go upstairs and then break down in the strike zone like the first one to Boone.
Number 10.
He doesn't do it very often.
Third baseman.
Now Chipper Jones had walked on 4 straight in the first inning, one of 2 walks issued by Martinez. The only hit he has allowed, Javi Lopez leadoff single in the second. Still hasn't thrown Chipper Jones a strike. It's now 2-0. In these days of the big strikeout guys, the Randy Johnsons who's 6'10", or Roger Clemens, who's a big, strong, burly guy. You stand next to Pedro Martinez, you would have a hard time figuring out what he did for a living, much less how good he was at it. He's only about 5'10", about 170 pounds.
But he has long arms, and he gets great leverage.
Outside corner, 3-2. He's right up there game for game, matching numbers with the all-time greats who are still playing today. There's the 3-2 on the way to Chipper. Got him outside corner, strike 3. That's 5 strikeouts for Martinez
Sox. Bottom of the third rolls around, and the 1999 season is certainly in full swing now. Summer is just around the corner. We hope you'll come out to friendly Fenway, taking a game in this last season of the century. Plenty of good seats are available. Can be purchased 24 hours a day by calling Red Sox Touchstone Ticketing at 617-482-4SOX. That's 617-482-4SOX. We look forward to seeing you here at Fenway. What a beautiful night this is. 70 degrees at game time. Breeze blowing out toward left. Mike Stanley begins the third against Tom Glavine. Stanley was intentionally walked in the first, a move that did not pay off for Bobby Cox. As they pitched around Stanley to get to Troy O'Leary, wound up singling with the bases loaded and knock in the first run of the night. Fastball outside. A ball and a strike. Stanley, O'Leary, and Buford coming up against Glavine. There's a strike at the knees. 1-2.
You'll see Larry McCoy. He sits up inside all the time. It's almost like he guesses at the ball outside. But you get him in that strike call, and he'll be sounding like a wounded calf. He starts getting after it. Oh.
There's strike three. Glavine has his third strikeout of the night.
After coming inside, he goes outside. Fastball can't hold up. This ball got on him and kind of tricked him a little bit. Speed of it. He wasn't looking for something outside.
One out in the third. The Red Sox lead 2-0. They scored twice in the first. The first run on a single by Troy O'Leary, who takes a strike at the knees.
Larry McCoy's got that right hand working, doesn't he?
Well, you would think that he would tonight with these two pitchers going. Bounced down to third, played by Chipper Jones. He stayed with a tricky hop to throw out O'Leary.
Number 2.
2 outs. And after the rocky first, it looks like Glavine is starting to settle in.
Moving the ball around, in and out. No one could sit on anything.
Here's Damon Buford. Glavine's retired 7 of the last 8, a string that's going to end on a little lob down the left field line. Buford will try for 2. The throw from Gerald Williams is way off the mark. And it's a bloop double for Damon Buford.
Buford gets jammed on a breaking ball. It's a pretty thing. Not when you're pitching, it isn't. There's a breaking ball. He kind of jams himself on it. Gets it on the label a little bit. I'll tell you what, though, if that ball's a little out over, he might hit that ball in the net, too. So it was a mistake. So it should be something. Shouldn't be an out.
Yeah. That's one of those, I guess, if you're the pitcher, you say, oh, that's a blue pip. On the other hand, you also realize if
he gets the big head of the bat on that ball, it's gone.
Here's Jeff Fry, who's called out on strikes his first time up. Slow roller up the middle, base hit. Past the diving Brett Boone. And the Red Sox on a bloop hit to left, a little dribbler through the middle, get a run with 2 outs, and they lead 3-0.
Glavine acts like a goalie on this, trying to do a skate save up the middle. You see him kick his foot out on this. Little changeup down the way, kicks his foot out. Ooh.
Number 47.
He must have known there's nobody up there. You know. They weren't playing him up the middle.
And of course, Glavine was a hockey player, but not a goalie. When he was in high school, was drafted by the Los Angeles Kings in the 4th round. He elected to pursue his baseball career. He was a 2nd-round pick by the Atlanta Braves. Ball outside. I actually talked with Tom before the game tonight about the deciding game between Colorado and Dallas. And he said he picked Dallas before the series, so he's sticking with Dallas in the 7th game of what's been a thrilling series.
He's got to be mad after that base hit up the middle because he's got 2 outs, nobody on. Bloop hit, could have been a bomb, and a little base hit up the middle. So, you know, that's what makes you crazy as a pitcher. You get 2 outs, nobody on. You think you got an out at the plate. Next thing you know, a guy gets a double. It's like, you know, you got to keep concentrating.
Veritek shoots one foul. One of the luxury boxes on the right. 1-2. Yeah, that's been another key to Glavin's success. You talk about concentration. He is one of those real competitive guys. Maintains that focus.
Grinder. Just keeps grinding. Never shows any emotion out there.
Fastball. Veritek wouldn't chase it.
It's hard to show emotion when you don't punch out as many guys as this guy does. I'd be out there styling all over the joint if I was Pedro, man. He's something else, this kid.
Well, you had a little style of your own, too.
Yeah, but I didn't have his kind of hair. He's got major hair. Hair as in gas.
Yes.
He hasn't got too much hair on his head, but he's got it in his arm.
Oh. Hair of any kind is good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's got good hair. Moving hair is good.
Glavin throws to first. Check in on Fry. Jeff's run batted in his 6th of the year. Fry has attempted 2 stolen bases. He hasn't been successful yet. And Glavin will visit over there again.
You know, if I'm Glavin, you got to be thinking you're, facing Pedro. You don't want to give up anything. You give up 1, you give up 2, and then you give up 3. You feel like you lost. If you asked him right now, and he was honest, he'd say, "Oh my God, I'm done." Got to hold him right there and take an L.
Veritek fouls another one away. Now, Martinez has given up more than 3 runs only once in 11 starts. He gave up 4 runs in the loss to the White Sox. His only loss the year back on April 15.
You just want to get back out there and start throwing it some more. Sitting down is terrible when you're young like that with the kind of hair he's got. You love runs, but I'm telling you, I hate sitting in the dugout for half an hour. You would love to sit in the dugout for 10 runs, but it takes something away from you.
Breaking ball miss, so now it's 3-2, and Fry will be running with the payoff pitch from Glavin. The runner goes. Veritek dribbles 1 foul.
Still pitching. 3-2 changeup.
And the Braves pitching this year, not what it has been in years past. Not only Glavin 3-6, but Greg Maddux has an ERA of 4.54. There's a drive to right, but not all that deep. And Brian Jordan has it to end the inning. The Red Sox get a run on 2 out hits. And as we head to the 4th at Fenway, the Red Sox lead 3-0.
Come up with there. That's a good question.
So you think about it for a while. Next half inning, we'll run the answer out there for you.
I've got my pick already. I'll write it down for you. We'll see how it turns out. Brian Jordan struck out his first time. 1 of 5 strikeouts already to Pedro Martinez. He takes strike 1. I'm going to go fairly current with my picks. Out of the way. 0-2 now on Jordan. Well, you get down 0-2 in the count to this guy, you are in trouble.
Well, he has so many weapons to come at you with. Jason Veritek put a lot of thought into what he wanted to call. Good hit on it right away.
Strikeout number 6 for Pedro Martinez.
When you're going good, you're going good.
He missed the target by 1.5 feet, didn't he?
By a foot. That's the pitch Jason Varitek called for originally. He said, let's come up and in with the fastball. He said, no. Went to the breaking ball. He said, no. He said, well, what do you want? Fastball away. He missed by 1.5 feet. Bingo. You're on a roll when you can do that.
Javi Lopez has the only hit off Martinez, a leadoff single in the second. He jumped on the first pitch, and no chance to do that here. Ball 1. Six hits for Boston, no runs, 1 hit for Atlanta. Lopez pops it up, shallow center. Buford for out number 2.
It's a different mechanics and a different delivery, but in a way, his style of pitching is a lot like that of Kevin Burke.
Number 18,
running
the designated hitter,
slurve, slider, to the changeup. Both are very aggressive.
Plesko walked his first time. Since that walk, Martinez has set down 8 in a row.
Changes the grip as he heads into his windup. They make it awfully tough to pick up. Right now, he's on dial-a pitch. Just dial it up, and here it comes. He doesn't do any motion until he starts there.
2 strikes.
Remember, we were talking the other night about how if a guy moves the ball around in the glove, a la Greg Maddux, you have to move it on every pitch. Martinez doesn't have to worry about that because he doesn't do any movement until the glove comes down.
Did not go. And the count even 2-2. Guys in a rhythm like this, it might not hurt to step out on him once in a while either.
You can't just let him keep going in that same tempo.
Full count.
And now's the time to do it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He wants to make a good pitch here. Just about the time he's ready, step out. Let him think about it.
Inside corner fastball, strikeout number 7. And 9 in a row set down now by Pedro Martinez. We go to the bottom of the 4th.
We're back at Fenway Park, where the Red Sox lead 3-0. They're looking to add to that lead in the bottom of the 4th. Let's check the scoreboard with interleague play underway. The Chicago Cubs are at Cleveland tonight. Jim Thome is at a 2-run homer, but the Cubs lead 3-2. Detroit leads St. Louis 2-0 behind Brian Moeller. Florida 5-0 ahead of Tampa Bay in the battle of the Sunshine State. Darren Lewis took ball 1 from Tom Glavine. Montreal leads Toronto 2-1 in the all-Canadian matchup. Baltimore 2, Philadelphia 0. They're only about an hour and a half apart. The bunt foul. Of course, the big hoopla this weekend, the Mets and the Yankees. And they're just underway at Yankee Stadium. They expect 56,000 for those games throughout the weekend. Pittsburgh at the Chicago White Sox. Cincinnati at Kansas City. Scoreless in the 1st. The 1-1 pitch driven toward the gap in left center. That's in for a hit. Cut off by Gerald Williams, who was playing Lewis toward center field. The rest of the scoreboard, Houston and Minnesota scoreless in the 1st, and the rest of the action later on. Milwaukee at Colorado, Texas and Arizona, Seattle and San Diego, the battle of Southern California between Anaheim and the Dodgers, and Oakland and San Francisco in the battle of the Bay Area. So a lot of those matchups that really were a big part of the design of interleague play are in effect this weekend, particularly those games in New York. Red Sox with 7 hits now. They have the lead man on for the first time. Lewis running on the first pitch to Walkman. He's going to try to go back to first, and he is safe. Ahead of the tag of Randall Simon. So an adventure for Lewis. Got about halfway to second and jammed the brakes on and made it back just ahead of the tag of Simon.
Looked like a delayed steal. And he just gets lucky here that the throw is high back to first. I really don't know what was happening. Maybe it was a hit and run.
It was Offerman,
because it had to be a hit and run. But he threw him a fastball in. He couldn't do anything about it.
Throw to first.
Red Sox really have a good approach tonight. I mean, they are hitting the ball, just trying to hit the ball back up the middle. He wants you to take a big swing at that changeup.
Certainly Jimmy Williams knows a lot about Tom Glavine in his 6 years on the Braves coaching staff. 0-2 the count.
Easier said than done, but looks good tonight.
Hoffman is grounded out and struck out. John Valentin's on deck. The Red Sox lead 3-0. They've out-hit the Braves 7-1 at the base hit by Lewis here in the fourth. One and two now on Offerman.
It's nice to be able to get a strikeout anytime you want, like Pedro can do.
Glavine would like a double play ball. First to throw to first.
He went for the punch out on that last pitch. Now he'll probably go for the ground ball double play.
You mentioned Glavine was out taking batting practice, even though here in the American League Park in interleague play they use the DH and the pitchers don't bat. He said ordinarily he'd like to bat, but not tonight against Pedro.
Wow. They've got Smoltz over there hitting about 350 or whatever it is. They take pride in their hitting over there. They have a good bunch of hitters.
Yep,
Maddox went deep.
In there. Maddox, Steve Avery when he pitched for Atlanta was a more than decent hitter. Offerman strikes out. 89 mile per hour fastball up and in. Offerman couldn't get it. He's fanned twice. Glavine has 4 strikeouts.
Number 13, the third baseman, John Valentin.
Look at all the Cy Young Award winners in the ballpark tonight. Pedro with 1, Brett Saberhagen a couple, Glavine's 1, 2, including last year. John Smoltz, Greg Maddox won 4 in a row. And the gentleman to my right.
That's some nice company right there.
Ball 1 high to John Valentin. We did check on Don Sutton. I'm surprised he never won one with the great career that he had. Now a Braves broadcaster. Sutton a 300 game plus winner, but never a Cy Young Award winner.
A lot of great pitchers never won the Cy Young. It's got to be timing, you know. I had a better year, another year that I didn't win it, so it's all about timing.
What year were you better than you were in
1990?
And who won it?
Who won it in 1990? Ricky Henderson.
Won the Cy Young Award?
Oh, won it in 1990.
I don't know.
Oh, Roger. Roger won it?
He might have. But our guys in the truck, one of the good things about this job, we don't really have to know anything. And on many nights I prove that.
But Bob Welsh. 27 W's. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
And Ricky was the MVP. We had him
Ricky
all.
was good. I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, he can do it all.
2-0 now on Valentin. Was Bob Welsh who won the award that year. A hopper right to first. Simon a low throw. Weiss the return throw even lower. And Valentin has it beat with 2 outs.
Number 5, the shortstop.
A nice play by Simon to throw inside part back. Nice play by Weiss more than anything. Try to double him up. Probably shouldn't even have thrown that ball.
There's Don Sutton, one of the Braves broadcasters.
Whew, that's a lot of W's.
It sure is. Finally got into the Hall of Fame. He had to wait a couple of years.
And that's a tough club to get into. You got 324 wins and you can't get in there for 2 or 3 years. Who's voting? Whew.
Nomar takes a strike. Nomar doubled and scored in the first, flied to center in the second. Don Sutton's one of only 20 pitchers who won 300 games or more.
He never won 20. That's funny.
Hello.
Hello there. He never won 20.
4 times an All-Star, Don Sutton.
Great Dodger teams he played for.
Grounded to short. Weiss. Bien originally in the starting lineup scratched, and then Weiss put in. And that's why he made the play. 2, Boone to end the inning. Red Sox stranded runner. They've left 6, but after 4, it's Boston 3 and Atlanta nothing.
By Coca-Cola Classic. Always in the game. Always Coca-Cola. And by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running.
Boy, you know you've walked into a ballpark when you walk into Fenway Park, don't you? You get that old-time ballpark feel, even before you get inside the ballpark. It's one of those neighborhood ballparks, and as you walk down the neighborhood streets, they've got all the souvenir stands and the refreshment stands and hot dog stands and all sorts of snacks available.
Well, they used to say, give us a city block and we'll build you a ballpark. And that's what they've done. That causes the odd angles and different dimensions. This is not a cookie cutter.
And what a great place to finish out the 1990s for the All-Star game. This is where that All-Star game should be played in the final year of the 1900s. Talk about a tough ticket to get. That one will be impossible.
It's just
0-2 on Andrew.
It's just a beautiful old ballpark. There's a warm.
That's hit high and deep to left field. O'Leary back toward that wall. It's going to be off the wall. Andrew down to second. He'll pull in with a stand-up double.
Remember, we were talking earlier about the Green Monster. It can punish you for hitting a rocket. It can reward you for getting jammed. That is a ho-hum routine fly ball in any other park. Same pitch he tried to get him to chase before.
Randall Simon
Scrapes down the side of the fence right above the scoreboard. See how O'Leary, when he realizes it's off the wall, you back up, you play handball.
Only the second hit allowed by Martinez, and it brings up Randall Simon. Takes a strike to the inside corner. Simon hit into a force play his first time up.
Boy, that's a good change-up. 1-2. From what we've seen, you could say, boy, he has a good something on almost every pitch he's thrown tonight.
His older brother had a pretty good changeup, too.
Yes, he did.
Ramon Martinez, who, by the way, is now a member of the Red Sox organization. Joined them before the season's over. That gets away from Veritek, and that'll move Andrew over to third. Well, maybe the Braves can get a run in here. Gets up and going against Martinez. Runner at third now with nobody out.
Good spot for a 2-strike pitch, especially if it's some sort of breaking ball. It's the changeup. He wants to get Randall Simon to chase it. And with the spin that it had, the changeup, he comes over the top of it. Instead of bouncing up off Veritek, it skidded along the ground and right under the glove.
Martinez with a wild pitch, enabling the runner to get over third. Struck him out. That's number 8. One man gone.
You were mentioning the Yankee series. This was where he was at his best in the Yankee series when they had the runner at third. Goes up and away with the fastball. He had 11 strikeouts, and 5 of them came with runners on third.
He has had 7 games this year with 10 or more strikeouts, including back-to-back 15 strikeout performances against Anaheim and Seattle. Only 1 walk in the 2 games combined. Didn't go. 1 ball, no strikes, and Gerald Williams, a strikeout victim, his first time up, now 0 for his last 18.
It's a good pitch to start a hitter off with when you've gotten him out and he's chasing breaking balls and he's got to be looking for it. You don't get a strike, but you make him inside conscious. Remind him there are 2 sides to the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He and Varitek seem like they just have a telepathy going. Only a couple of times have they not agreed on the call.
And it's 1-2, and be aware of that outside pitch now, Gerald Williams.
Well, Gerald's looked for it for 3 pitches and hasn't gotten it.
He's got to stop chasing. Anytime the pitchers have gotten ahead of him, 0-2 or 1-2, they have thrown him something a foot outside, and he's not been able to stop his swing. Just like that.
That was a great sequence there. Jason Varitek did a good job because twice in that sequence, Martinez shook off to get to the fastball inside. So Jason Varitek didn't give a sign, and he gave him the sign to shake, shook, and then he gave him the breaking ball. So you got to be looking. He shook twice for fastball, so you'll be thinking he's going to throw another one. This is a lockout pitch. He gets it.
Did he get him to go? I guess not.
See, watch Varitek say, shake me off. Shake me twice. That's what you've done to go to the fastball. So he was having him go on what Martinez has done before. Well, he had done it to get to the fastball. Varitek says, do it to get to the breaking ball.
Gerald Williams to 2-2. Gerald was able to lay off that last one.
You have to block one in the dirt now.
Down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. That is 9 strikeouts.
Gerald Williams is asking, did it hit the dirt? And you saw Larry McCoy waving his palms up. No, he caught it. Perfect spot for a 2-strike breaking ball. Jason Varitek caught it, kind of backhanded, but he did catch it.
9 strikeouts for Martinez, 2 outs in the 5th. Runner still at 3rd. He was there with nobody out. And now it's going to be up to Walt Weiss to get that run in. Walt is fly to left, and he is struck out. Down in the count 0-1. 3 runs, 7 hits for Boston, no runs, only 2 hits for Atlanta.
The way he's pitching,
Martinez has been a story.
The way he's pitching, you get a feeling Pat Corrales and Ned Yost could catch him, but I love the rapport he's developed with Varitek.
They should get him out of the inning. Garcia Parra drifting back from shallow left. He's got it. Runner stranded at 3rd. He is at it again. This is what he did against the New York Yankees in that start against them. Braves leave another runner at 3rd. It's still 3-0.
Baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. Well, apparently they're doing artwork with the sunflower seeds down there. Jim Rice, not only the hitting coach, but apparently the sunflower seed coach now. I think that's Brian Rose. Tough to tell. Yeah, maybe John Valentin. It was John Valentin. We're pretty sure this is Mike Stanley. And he took ball 1. Yeah, there's John Valentin. They're probably talking about hitting. Pulled foul. Stanley, O'Leary, and Buford coming up. here in the 5th. Red Sox scored twice in the 1st against Glavine. They had a tough time in the 1st inning. He threw 38 pitches, faced 8 batters. Check swing, a strike, 1-2. Red Sox got RBI singles with the bases loaded from Troy O'Leary and Damon Buford in the 1st. And they put together 2 soft hits with 2 outs in the 3rd. A bloop double by Damon Buford and a little single through the middle by Jeff Fry for the 3rd run. That's fisted foul by Stanley. Nice catch in the luxury boxes. Words we almost never speak, because those people just cannot field, but a gentleman made a nice catch.
The K box.
Another 1-2 and a foul ball. Pulled down to 3rd to Chipper Jones. 1 out here in the 5th. Friends, why don't you come out to friendly Fenway June 16th and 17th. The Red Sox will be taking on the Minnesota Twins, and the first 15,000 fans entering the ballpark each day will receive a Millennium Sports bottle courtesy of the nice folks at Dunkin' Donuts. This bottle commemorates the last season of the century. It's perfect to help you keep cool during all of your favorite summer activities. To purchase tickets, call 617-482-4SOX. Troy O'Leary, the hitter. First ball swinging, a little pop-up along the left field line. Gerald Williams, 2 outs. What do you think of interleague play? Do you enjoy it when you were participating the last couple of years?
Well, the only problem I had with it is because of the schedule more than anything. You know, 2 games here, 2 games there. I think it's great for the fans, but as players, you know, those homes, I mean, those trips that you go 2 days, you can't even unpack your bag. I mean, it's not, I don't want to complain. It doesn't sound real good, but that was the toughest part of it, was the travel.
Right.
It screwed up the whole schedule.
Damon Buford singled to left to knock in a run in the 1st. He doubled to left and scored the 3rd Red Sox run in the 3rd. Boston leads 3-0.
What do you think the consensus of this whole thing is, interleague play with all the players?
I think it's mixed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one way or another.
No,
I really don't. At the start, it wasn't real popular.
Buford bangs it toward the second baseman Boone. Brett throws him out. Glavine has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. After 5, Boston 3 and Atlanta nothing.
6th inning time for the Budweiser game summary, and it's fairly simple tonight. Pedro Martinez, the story. 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. He's given up only 2 hits. Tom Glavine got touched for a couple of runs in the 1st inning and gave up another run with 2 outs in the 3rd.
Brett Boone leads off here in the 6th and takes a strike. 0-1 the count. We've got an odd starting time for you tomorrow, 4:05 Eastern time. 1-1 the count. Ground ball to short. Nomar has it. Low throw, but Stanley digs it out. 1 down.
Talking to Chipper before the ball game as he stands in there about Jimmy Williams and what he meant to him when he was coming up, and Jimmy was still the 3rd base coach for Atlanta. And he said, you know, I made a lot of errors in the minor leagues, and Jimmy helped me cut down on them considerably with just ground ball after ground ball after ground ball.
1 ball, no strikes.
In addition to being a good manager, he was a terrific infield instructor.
And a terrific 3rd base coach.
Yep.
If you're wondering, Pedro Martinez career high in strikeouts is 15. He has done that twice. Did it on May 12th against Seattle. A very good hitting club. That's the strike on Chipper. 1-1 2-1 the count.
He's throwing hard, Skip. Everything is hard, and he's keeping the ball in on the left-handed hitter's hands a lot.
Well, there's no doubt that he used to come inside maybe too much when he was younger and in the National League. He got in a lot of beefs. He's only hit 2 batters this year. 2-2.
That's right in Chipper's wheelhouse. That's middle half of the plate in, a little above the knees, and he got it by him.
He never does you a favor and throws you a high change or anything like that. No swing. Jim Reynolds made the call from third base.
He never really got the head of the bat out in front of his hands. Good call.
Martinez shakes off a couple of signs. Top foul past first. This was another night, Joe, when I swear I don't see any difference at all between the way Larry McCoy calls balls and strikes and the National League umpires.
It's kind of interesting to look down there too and not see a catcher's box drawn in tonight too.
Yeah. How refreshing. High fly ball, well hit. Buford back. Wind is against him, but he's got room and makes the catch. If he gets around just a split second later on that ball, he's either got it up against the green monster or in the netting above it. 2 out. Here's Brian Jordan, who has struck out twice.
Interesting. Every player I've talked to likes coming here to play, but most of the players I've talked to say that they'd just as soon interleague play go away if they're not going to start rotating which division you play.
That's sort of the way I feel about it too. Because the 0-2 to Jordan, the thrill is gone as far as seeing not that they're not fine teams. But the Yankees and Baltimore and the Red Sox and Toronto, we've done that. And they've done that. One and 2 with 2 out. Braves had runners at first and third. With 1 out in the second, failed to score. Had a runner at third with nobody out. An inning ago, failed to score. And Bryan has the hat trick. 10 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Boston 3, Atlanta nothing.
Back at Fenway this first night of interleague play, 1999. The Red Sox lead 3-0, trying to win one for the American League, as are the Indians, but they trail the Cubs 3-2. Detroit leads St. Louis 2-1. Florida pounding Tampa Bay 7-0. Montreal 2, Toronto 1. Philadelphia leads Baltimore 4-2. The Mets leading in the battle in New York 2-1. The rest of the action scoreless or later. Jeff Fry against Tom Glavine. Ball 1. Fry, Veritek, and Lewis, the bottom third. Here in the 6th, Jeff singled through the middle last time up to knock in a run. He struck out in the 1st. He takes a strike.
I think McCoy lost his voice. I can't hear that strike call anymore.
Yeah. Bang down the line, fair ball, base hit, heading for the corner, and at least 2 for Jeff Fry. That bounces around to the doorway for a while, and it's a double, and Fry is 2 for 3.
He does the only thing he can with it. It's supposed to be a fastball outside. This ball kind of comes back over, and he hooks this ball down the line. Maybe it was a changeup that just sort of ran over and didn't go away. It came in. Anyway, he does a nice job hitting this ball. It's got to be a mistake. Leadoff double.
He's in scoring position for Jason Varitek. 8 hits now for Boston. They're out hitting Atlanta 8-2. Varitek takes a strike. He saw a lot of the Braves while he was in college at Georgia Tech.
We got to get this guy over. Guy in second, nobody out. You have got to get him over. I don't care if you bunt.
Down and in.
I mean, what's wrong with bunting right here? Anything?
No.
You just don't see it anymore.
And rarely done by the Red Sox. Jimmy Williams doesn't employ the sacrifice very often. Varitek has done it a couple of times this year. Two balls and 1 strike. Just one school thought he would be Glavine working away as he does all the time. Might not be that hard a guy to at least get the ball on the right side of the infield again.
Definitely.
And move the runner over that way. It didn't look like Varitek was trying to take that one to the right side. 2-2.
Scores 0-0. Might be a different story.
Varitek had something in his eye. That's to the right side, and we'll move the runner along as Brett Boone throws out Varitek.
Nice job. Jimmy's got to like that.
Well, how about a squeeze here?
The right fielder.
Well, they got to be looking for something. You can't looking for something tricky.
Well, they got the infield in too, so might as well just bang one right through. Lewis has already singled to left center. Just fly to right. Infield in. They don't want to go another run down.
Just try to get a ball in the air.
He turned to punt. Fry was not coming down the line. Fry watching Wendell Kim intently, as is Darren Lewis.
That was just a little fake. If you start that bunt too early, you might get hit in the face.
100 pitches even for Glavine now. Here is the squeeze, and Glavine threw it to the backstop. He was anxious to get it up there.
Maybe he's just trying to throw this ball high and outside because he saw him turn around. Here he kicks his leg. Wow, it just slipped out of his hand. Did you see the catcher pop up early there? I don't. Here we go. No, it just slipped. I was going to say maybe it was a pitch out, but it wasn't.
It's a wild pitch charged to Glavine in any event, and a 4-0 Red Sox lead.
It's a wild launch.
That sure was. Jimmy Williams pulling out some of the tricks against his old friends from Atlanta. Lewis lines one to first. 2 outs. Here in the 6th inning, the Red Sox lead 4-0.
Can't really see as he's going to turn around and square to bunt real late. He doesn't just square around. He does it real late, and you can't see it there, but he's coming. That's nicely done. A little gimme run. Nobody gets hurt. Everything's fine. We got another run.
So 2 outs and the base is empty for Jose Offerman. Glavine hits the corner for a strike. Jose's 0 for 3, a ground out and 2 strikeouts. 4 runs, 8 hits for Boston. No runs, 2 hits for Atlanta. Neither team has made an error. Up and away. A ball and a strike. pop-up. Simon just into foul territory to end the inning. The Red Sox get a run in the 6th. We head to the 7th with Boston leading 4-0.
By new Nizoral AD Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. The freedom will go to your head. And by First Union, your guide to the financial world.
Javi Lopez leads off the 7th. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. The scorer has rightly changed the scoring on that. And I missed it too, but since the runner was running from third, you got to score that as a steal of home. Not a wild pitch. So Jeff Fry's first stolen base of the year is home plate.
First one of home by the Red Sox since 1996.
1-1 the count. Comes up empty. It's 1-2. Glavine high for pitches in a game this year, 121 against the Cardinals on May 3rd. He's averaged 104. He's at 109 in this game. Took a little off that time. 11 strikeouts, 1 out in the 7th.
That's one guy.
Go ahead, Joe.
One guy he hadn't struck out too.
7 in a row set down by Mr. Pedro.
It's almost like on his changeup, he just kind of drags his arm through there. Boy, what a beautiful pitch with that quick motion to the plate. He's throwing so hard, too. The hitters are reacting to the delivery.
Ryan Klesko hits one hard down the right side. Fair foul. It is a fair ball home run. A line drive just inside the line. There goes the shutout. Home run number 7 for Klesko. His 25th RBI. A first pitch homer.
And the 4th in his career off of Pedro Martinez. He had hit him well coming into this game and just got around on this one enough to hook it around the pole.
He didn't hit it that well, but he hit it where you got to hit it, right down the line.
That's the argument people had for years about Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio, that the straightaway right field here and right at Fenway Park for DiMaggio. For Williams, it was 380.
Doesn't seem to have affected Martinez very much, that home run. He's right back to work.
At the pole, it's a different story, but you got to hit it right down the line like Ryan did.
Right back to the mound. 2 out. Randall Simon, the batter, he has hit into a forced play and he is struck out.
There's that area I'm talking about. 380 out there to the bullpens to straightaway right.
The first baseman,
Brent Boone, as Joe mentioned, the only guy who hasn't gone down on strikes tonight. A little bit low, 1-0.
The discussion was always if DiMaggio played here with the Green Monster and Williams played in Yankee Stadium with the short porch, how good would they have been?
And if they both hadn't had their career interrupted by military service, Williams twice, by the way, what numbers would they have put up? Randall a little out of control on that one. It's 1-2.
Randall's kind of dug in tonight and said, just keep giving me the fastball. I'm going to get one in a minute. And Pedro's obliging. This is kind of a fun matchup here. Simon hit the ball hard his first time up, but struck out his last time.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on, but a run is in. Started to go, held up, it was down and in, 2-2.
Randall's not even getting out of the box. He's just saying, come on, you and me. And Pedro says he doesn't want the change up. Let's go back to the fastball.
Away. And he hit the target and the inning is over. Number 12. Klesko's homer gets the Braves on the board, the only hit of the inning. No errors, nobody left. Bottom of the 7th. 4-1 Boston.
Thanks for the sellout crowd here at Fenway. An entertaining ball game. The Red Sox lead 4-1. Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox. Sean McDonough with Dennis Eckersley tonight. He's filling in for Jerry Remy, who has the night off to attend his son Jordan's graduation from high school. A big night in the Remy household. John Valentin pulls the first pitch from Glavine in the hole. Tough play for Walt Weiss. Long throw. Got him.
Nice play, both ends. Weiss still has a nice arm. He gets this ball in the outfield grass. Here's a changeup he tries to hook, which he does. Almost in the hole. Goes on the outfield grass, stops. Still has enough on it, but there's a nice pick on the other end. Nicely done.
Valentin stumbled out of the batter's box. Yeah, that might have cost him the play.
He doesn't get down the line that good anyway.
No, he doesn't seem to run quite as well as he used to.
He used to run a lot better. In fact, steal a bag here and there.
Nomar Garcia-Parra takes the breaking ball. He is doubled in 3 trips. Doubled off the wall in left center and scored in the first. And the Red Sox scored twice. He added single runs in the 3rd and 6th.
I'll tell you what, your legs will go on you quickly once you get to your 30s. You've got to run all the time to keep yourself, quick. A lot of guys are blessed with it, but I think you have to work on it to keep, not so necessarily thin, but you think you're in shape because you play every day, but it's hard to get that extra quickness. I know you guys say you're born with it, but I think you can work on it.
You used to run a lot.
Yeah, but I didn't run because I wanted to get quicker. I ran just because it was good for my head. And I can eat anything I wanted to eat almost.
Little chopper in front of the plate. Glavine, one of the best fielding pitchers in baseball, throws him out.
What was the count on that pitch?
I believe 3-0.
That's what I thought. I was surprised. That's got to drive you crazy. A 3-0 and you hit a swinging bunt.
24, the first baseman, Mike Stanley.
Well, the Glavine family here tonight. Tom's parents, Fred and Millie. They've watched their son pitch into the bottom of the 7th. Red Sox haven't made a lot of loud noises against them tonight, but they've scratched and clawed 4 runs. Stanley took a ball. 0 for 2 with an intentional walk.
He wouldn't be in this game in the National League, that's for sure.
He likely would have hit for him by now. Tom has a brother, Michael, who's in the Braves organization with their Double-A team. He's a first baseman and outfielder. Tried to pull the outside pitch, and that's what happens when you try to do that with Glavine. The shortstop chews it up, and the Glavine family likes that. Watching in a box tonight. The team they're cheering for needs runs. They're down by 3 against Martinez after 7.
Time to take a quick look at the Delta scoreboard. Jim Thome a home run for Cleveland in that game. Detroit has the lead over St. Louis. Doug Brocail on in relief for the Tigers. Florida winning big at Tampa Bay. Montreal and Toronto have a good one going. Rondell White a 2-run homer. Philadelphia 4 in the 2nd. Albert Bell hit his 10th home run. Mets 2-1 over the Yankees. Brian McRae a home run. Jorge Posada hit one as well. No score in Chicago, and all the other action is later on. Log into CNNSI for the latest scores and news from around the diamond. That's CNNSI.com, the ultimate address for sports. 1-1 the count on Gerald Williams leading off here. Strike 2 called inside corner. He didn't think much of that.
He's had Gerald back and forth all night, busting him inside with the fastball to set up some off-speed pitches away that Gerald has chased.
That's number 13, and he's got Gerald all 3 times up. And Gerald is right at the Mendoza line now.
0 for his last 20. About 95 miles an hour on the outside corner. And Gerald very defensive, looking for something off speed. Way late on that pitch. Guessed wrong.
Walt Weiss, the batter, 0 for 3. His 13-game hitting streak might be on the line right here. One ball, no strikes. Little chopper to first. Stanley has it. Steps on the bag. 2 up.
When you fan 13 in a ball game, there's a good chance you're going to get a lot of guys as you go up and down the order. Tonight, the only guy that has not struck out in the starting lineup is Brett Boone. He's up there now, but Jordan and Gerald Williams both with the hat trick tonight.
Pop found on a play, 0-1.
Apparently, the location they're talking about for a new Fenway Park, Skip, is right out behind us in this very neighborhood. They'd have to do some raising of buildings, and we're talking like maybe by the year 2003.
Strike 2.
He is awfully tough tonight, but everything has worked off his fastball. Comes the changeup. It's like he lays his arm out on a changeup. He has a lot of leverage with his fastball for such a small, slightly built guy. But watch how flat his arm is on this.
Struck him out, inning over. Boone argues about it, but he is out on strikes. Martinez strides off the mound with 14 Ks. Mikasa es Sukasa. Bottom of the 8th, 4-1 the score.
Let's go, Pedro. 14 Ks tonight. Just awesome indeed. The spelling less than awesome, but Pedro has been. New pitchers, Justin Spire, greeted by Troy O'Leary, who popped it up in shallow right. Brian Jordan the catch. Here's Spire making his 14th appearance. No wins, losses, or saves. An ERA of 3.18. 17 innings. He has struck out 16. He's walked just 7. Tom Glavine went 7 innings. Allowed 4 earned runs on 8 hits and 2 walks. He struck out 4. He threw 112 pitches for his friends and relatives. Damon Buford, strike 1. Damon's had a good night. An RBI single in the first, a double, and he scored in the third. He grounded the second in the 5th. One and one the count. Spire's been around, drafted originally by the Chicago Cubs and traded to the Florida Marlins in July of 1998. Came over from the Marlins April 1st of this year. A minor league player to be named later.
He's not Chris Spire's son, is he?
I'm not certain of that because in his supplemental bio in the Brave notes, they had a little problem with the printing. So we're going to have to.
I just saw his name once and I said, I wonder if that's his kid.
Buford hits one high and deep to left. If it stays fair, goodbye. That's a home run.
I don't know if Buford took Spire's son deep or not.
Well, we know he's done Buford's son. That much is
exactly.
The home run, Buford's second of the year. And he's just lacking the triple to hit for the cycle tonight. 3 hits for Buford, 2 runs batted in, 2 runs scored.
Ooh, he throws him a high fastball. Fence high, as Reggie Jackson used to say. All you got to do is, it's like a mattress, he says, all you got to do is lay on it.
Red Sox have hit 54 home runs now as a team, averaging 1 a game for the year. This is their 53rd game.
Used to call those dingers baboombas. Baboomba.
And you are correct. Justin Spire is the son of former Major League infielder Chris Spire.
Played with Chris for 2-3 years in Chicago. Good player. His father.
And Justin throws a strike.
I remember they had a lot of kids. They must have 6 or 7 kids.
Really?
Uh-huh. Which is unheard of nowadays. That many children. Big kid.
Ball low. 2-1 on Fry. Jeff's had a good night. An RBI single in the 3rd. He pulled a double down the left field line and scored on a steal of home. He was breaking on a squeeze attempt with Darren Lewis at the plate, and Glavine threw the ball past the catcher. Fry credited with a steal of home as the ball went to the backstop. 5-1 Red Sox. And there's a strike, evening the count at 2-2. Braves were concerned about their bullpen this year, particularly when Kerry Lightenberg, who become their closer, suffered an arm injury, but the bullpen has been very good. Bobby Cox was talking about that before the game tonight. Boone throws out Fry, 2 down.
With the way their starters have pitched, I think Millwood is a guy that has done a good job for them. If he had faltered, they would have been in trouble with the way Maddox and Glavine have pitched, but their bullpen's been all right.
John Rucker has developed into a dependable closer. A left-hander.
Goes hard.
Very hard, yes. Jason Varitek's 0 for 3. Ian Offerman, the only Red Sox in the lineup tonight who have not reached base. Ball 1 low. Spire wants a new ball from Larry McCoy.
Varitek didn't get a chance to really swing left-handed that much last year with Hatteberg around. He's shown he's got some pop that way this year.
6 of his 7 home runs have come from the left side.
So that in itself is a surprise. The kind of power that he has from the left side, which is, I always thought he was a good right-handed hitter, so that's perfect.
A couple of notes involving the Red Sox today. Kip Gross was outrighted to Pawtucket. He came off the disabled list. When it became apparent that Mark Portugal wanted to stay, he announced that earlier tonight. If you're just tuning in, Portugal is going to stay with the team and continue to pitch. Kip Gross sent to Pawtucket. And Juan Pena is going to make another rehab start for Pawtucket tomorrow against Buffalo, and if all goes well, he will likely return sometime next week. 3-1 pitch hit in the air to right. Well hit. Jordan up against the bullpen wall, took a home run away from Varitek and flipped the ball up into the bleachers. And the scramble is on there for the souvenir. Varitek showing that improved power from the left side that Dennis was talking about. Nearly ripped one out of here. Buford did hit a homer, and as Martinez heads to the mound to try to finish them off, he has a 5-1 lead. Red Sox baseball has been brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. And by your friendly Dodge dealer. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. Beautiful night in America's greatest city. A big sellout crowd, 33,411 on hand, and they have been entertained by this one from the start. Pedro Martinez has been outstanding again. Well, the Red Sox have led throughout since scoring twice in the first. Chipper Jones pulled one into the Boston dugout. Jones, Jordan Lopez, the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. Chipper has walked, struck out, and flied to center. Martinez has given up 3 hits, one of them a homer to Ryan Klesko. He's walked 2, none since the second inning, and has struck out 14. He's had at least 1 in every inning. He's got Jones on the hook, 0-2.
He's feeling strong, too. You talk about 14 punch-outs. He only got about 110, 15 pitches, which is phenomenal.
Fans gave Pedro a standing ovation as he took the mound. The 0-2 pitch just outside.
Could have rung him up right there.
We were waiting to hear your pal Larry McCoy. Yes. The 1-2. He struck him out. 15, matching his season high and his career high. He's done it 3 times this season.
Wow. Got Brian Jordan up, punched out 3 times, and he does not want to punch out 4 times. That's the golden sombrero.
Again tonight, the strikeouts are coming all of Pedro's pitches. Fastballs, changeups, breaking balls. Jordan 0 for 3.
He's punched everybody out at least once. That's hard to do.
That is very hard to do. And everybody in the lineup tonight for Atlanta has fanned at least once. Curveball for a strike. 1-1 on Jordan. 5-1 Boston in the 9th. This game played at a brisk pace with Martinez and Glavine. Quick workers and for the most part throwing strikes. 1-1 fastball just outside. The 2-1 is fisted foul. Fans don't just want outs, they want strikeouts.
It's just amazing the control that he has. Here he gets him down 2-1. He's going to throw a fastball in. He gets it in. I mean, this is a guy with major hair that spots it, too.
He struck him out. Fastball at the knees. Jordan barking at Larry McCoy. What's he arguing about? That was right down the middle.
Because he punched out 4 times and he doesn't really like it. He had no chance. Come on, BJ.
Bobby Cox.
Just a little embarrassed, I think, more than anything. Because he can go upstairs and look on that video, and that ball's plate. And not only that, it's the Pedro Martinez show. Go sit down. That's where I talk about. See ya. That ball is. Get out of here.
Right down the middle of the plate, certainly high enough. First time in his career, Martinez has struck out 60. Now he has a chance to strike out the side, finish with a flourish. And if Lopez keeps swinging like that, there will be 17 strikeouts for Pedro.
Looks like a fastball coming out of his hand, and it doesn't get there. Ah. What a pitcher.
The 0-1. 0-2. Must be something about this date for the Martinez family. June 4th of 1990, Ramon Martinez struck out 18, pitched a 3-hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Atlanta Braves in a 6-0 shutout. Ramon at 18 on this date in 1990. Pedro looking for number 17 and the complete game win. The 0-2 pitch. Little chin music for Harvey Lopez.
Tried to overthrow that ball sometimes, and it gets away from you. This is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. As far as punching people out, it's just totally dominant. I mean, it's a thrill for me to see this game, to be honest with you, because I love pitching.
The 1-2 pitch. Bounced on the third base side as the crowd groans. Valentin's throw dug out by Stanley, and the Red Sox win. An audible groan from the crowd as that ball went bouncing to John Valentin. They wanted another strikeout. They settle for the second complete game of the season and 25th of Martinez's career. And all Brett Boone can do is admire the performance of Pedro tonight. Red Sox take game 1 of interleague play. And Martinez is the first 11-game winner.
He's the best.
He is. In the American League, the next highest win total is 7 for Mike Messina. And Pedro now has more than twice as many strikeouts as any pitcher in the American League. He has 133. Next on the list is Chuck Finley with 65. Red Sox win it 5-1. The totals and more in a moment.